Hey guys, what's up? I'm here in my lobby, and today I just want to talk about something that I've kind of talked about once or twice in my videos, and that's the importance of different mindsets as a musician. Because the thing you hear all the time, and the reason you hear this is because it's an easy answer, is practice. Right? You hear that all the time. You hear, if you want to get better at an instrument, practice. The problem in and of itself is that the word practice just simply means to do something over and over again, like muscle memory. So I could practice picking up a book and putting it down. All I'm doing is picking it up and putting it down over and over again. And so when you do something over and over again, you get better at it. So that's why it's an easy answer, because practice in and of itself just means that when you do a task, you're going to get better at it. It's almost just a logical duh. It's like, yeah, if you practice, you'll get better. So what I'm getting at is, as a musician, you have to have mindsets. And what that means is, this is what the really good guys who play music don't really want to tell you, is that the secret is you don't practice, you play. And you don't just play, but you play lots of different things. Okay? So obviously you have to practice these things that you play. But at the same time, it's not just playing the same thing over and over again. So let me explain what I mean. So if I'm playing, right? Say I'm practicing a scale. Now, there's nothing wrong with doing that kind of stuff. I do that kind of stuff all the time. But that's one mindset. And that's the whole goal behind this video, is I'm just telling people that there's lots of different mindsets when it comes to playing a musical instrument. That is one. So practicing scales or playing scales in all kinds of different positions. Different ways to do it. So going down the guitar. And then there's chords, right? So we learn and we practice chord progressions, different people's songs. Different people's songs or different people's chord progressions. So the flip side and the hypocritical part to what I'm talking about is, of course, everything that I'm playing, I practice, right? So I'm not saying that practice is bad. I'm just saying as a musician, you have to have a mindset of what your goal is. So if my goal is to get better at scales, then I need to play scales over and over again. Sure, if my goal is to get better at a certain chord progression, I need to try that chord progression over and over again. Yes, that's true. But what if my goal is just to play the instrument? See, the problem with saying that means that now I have to open up a world of unknowns. Now I have to try things. Now I have to experiment. Now I have to be creative. So the main reason that people don't talk about this mindset of just playing the instrument and experimenting with sounds is because you can't teach it. That's the bottom line. I mean, you can teach techniques and ideas and things on how to get better at improvisation or just playing an instrument, but you can't necessarily teach somebody how to have their own sound. But that is also something to practice. The main goal of this video is to say, don't just practice everyone else's sound. When you're playing scales, you're not playing your own sound. When you're playing someone else's chord progression, you're not playing your own sound. But when I'm doing stuff like point is, I'm experimenting. I'm finding out what works. And this is what we call writing, right? I don't think we should just set this apart as some people are players, some people are writers. Why, right? When you practice writing. Practice finding your own sound as a guitarist. Don't just practice scales or practice just chords. Practice things that you like to hear. Find sounds on the guitar. Because that's how you get better, guys. That's the secret. You get better at an instrument by literally playing it, not practicing other people's stuff. That's the whole point of this video. It's a mindset. If I sit here and practice other people's stuff all day long, I'm going to only get better at their stuff. But if I play the guitar and I just listen for sounds, just listen to sounds, find sounds that you like, put those in a certain order or pattern, ta-da, you have a riff, you have an idea, and you just came up with that idea. And that has always been the motivation or the driving factor for me in music. You know, one reason why I think that maybe some kids or people who are learning music, and I'll take lessons from people, and the people will be like, why aren't you practicing? Why aren't you doing what I'm saying? And I think that's because some people are just not in the mold, you know, man, like me. If I played a song that I didn't like in lessons, I would sit there and I would mess with it and I'd be like, I like this better. So I just wonder why there's a myth of there's people who are players of other people's music and then there's people who are writers. Why? Why does it have to be that way, right? Why can't those people who play other people's music try to make the instrument their own? And it's almost like this divide in music between musicians. Yeah, and it's interesting. It's almost like they're too afraid to fail, that they never find their own sound. And that's a very powerful statement. Think about that. They're too afraid to fail at something that might not sound good in the beginning. Here's the secret, guys. Jimi Hendrix, you think, how many times you think he, before he wrote this, how many times do you think he found other sounds that he didn't like before he figured out, hey, I like the sound of that? And who knows how long it took him to come up with this second part to complement it. So don't take this video the wrong way. I'm not saying in practicing people's stuff is how you find your own sound as well, because they give you ideas. Don't just be a player of other people's stuff. Don't just practice, play. Find your own sound on the instrument. Experiment, okay? The only thing that you're going to do is you're going to mess up a lot, but you're also going to find your own sound on the instrument. And I think that's one of the most important lessons you can ever learn as a musician, is to find your own sound on the instrument by just playing around, just having fun with it. Now, I realize there's a progression to this, right? You can't find your own sound if you don't know how to play anything. So there's steps. I'm really talking to the guys who just play other people's stuff and know lots of songs. Why? Experiment, create, you know, just find sounds that you like on the instrument and do something with that, you know? So that's why I'm always saying, don't worry about practicing, just play. That's always kind of been my philosophy. And, you know, classical musicians would look at me and say, what in the world are you talking about? You know what I mean? So it's a mindset. It's a mindset, guys. And there's nothing wrong with people who only play with other people's music. There's classical pianists who make way more money than me playing other people's music. So this is just really an opinion. But for me, it's what music has always been about, is how do I make my sound on the instrument? And how can I make my sound better each time, every single time I play the instrument, and just experimenting, having fun with sound. Because I tell you what, if you're in a rut playing other people's music, this is the secret. This is the secret. So So thanks guys for watching. I know there's a lot of crappy playing going on here, but I'll tell you why. Because I was experimenting. I was playing around. I was finding my sound for today. Don't be afraid to fail, guys. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.